Welcome to the Tiny Bites of Business podcast, where we take practical, implementable tools and strategies and pack them into bite-sized episodes. I'm your host, Sarah Wooden. Let's talk about systems, streamlining, and business strategy. Welcome to another episode of the Tiny Bites of Business podcast. Today, I wanted to share something a bit vulnerable, and I want to talk about my experience with burnout this year, because I really think that we have to bring these conversations to the front and we have to share the impact of the last few years and what we can actually do about it. So for those that don't know, I also homeschool. I'm also an artist. I've got a bunch of balls that I'm keeping in the air around chronic illness. It's been something that I've navigated for years and years and years. I can't get as much done as other people do. And if you go back to the chronic illness episode and the period coaching episode, we talk a little bit more about working in flow and just identifying that you have a smaller capacity. So being more aware of what you can actually put on your plate. For me this year, we also took on renovations, as well as my husband being a second year uni student as well. And it all just accumulated, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I realized that I was so tired, I was dreading getting out of bed. No joy for things that normally bring me joy, like painting. Like, I love art. I am an artist. I teach art, but painting for myself disappeared again. My health went downhill. I got really sick, was crying every day, avoiding doing client work and just massively procrastinating, which then meant that I was behind, and then I was even more anxious and stressed because I pride myself on doing an excellent job. That only works if the work's getting done. So it got very complex and complicated, and it kind of broke me. So first step was taking some emergency leave. And I know that for everybody, this is not always possible, but I reached out to my clients and I communicated where I was really struggling and said that for the sake of my health, it was so important that I took some leave. Shorter notice than normal. I'm sorry. I will do everything I can to support you around that. But recognizing that if I don't take leave now, this may snowball beyond what I'm able to pull back in. So identifying that is really important. Coming back and sitting with my values and working out what it is that I actually like doing in business, what projects I like doing, and looking at what I was juggling. I realized at the end of last year, I actually had 11 open projects. That's a whole lot of mental load to be juggling. Now, not all of them were open projects. Some of them were just small projects. Some of them were once off. Many of them have already been closed. But we need, as business owners, to understand the weight of the mental load that we are carrying as business owners, especially if you're in business by yourself or with a very small team, and especially for the support team, the virtual assistants and the freelancers. We need to identify the mental load that we are also carrying for our clients and making sure that it's not just the work capacity that we're thinking about, but it's the mental capacity that we are being mindful of when we plan our projects too. So that was really key as well. And going back and having a look at moving forward, how do I need to restructure my business? Where do I need to refocus my energy? How can I work on taking projects on in better ways that either allow me to really get in and do the work without trying to manage in a small basket 17 pieces, or where can I get in, get the work done, and get back out? So really short-term projects. So that was really key for me, is looking back and going forward. You will see over the coming months that there'll be some restructuring rolling out in what I offer and how I offer it and how I show up online, changing some of those things, plugging into support networks and communities and programs that were really strong on building the foundations of business and being okay with it being imperfect. So I joined a 90-day challenge, which in some ways has felt tricky because I certainly haven't showed up for every day of that. But in a community of people who understand that it's data, it's having a look at what's working and what's not working, and adapting and making changes, and knowing that what happens in this piece probably won't see the results for some time moving forward. So that's been really key for me as well. Adding in the adrenal cocktail, finding in ways to get to the gym. So I've joined Pilates, and I don't know if that's the right fit for me yet, but keeping trying, bringing the fiction books back in, because I realised over the last couple of months even that had sort of dried off a bit, and I love reading fiction. So bringing those little bits of joy back in. This is Axel. So Axel is a foster boy who was also part of the mounting pressure, but that's okay. So this year has been quite a lot on top of navigating. My kids are fairly intense kids. We don't have diagnosis yet, but they're fairly intense kids, so it's been a lot. So each of these pieces has been really important, but overall it was the emergency leave and stepping back and going, okay, my business has got me this far, but we're going to need to change some things. How do we move forward? And I still have days where I'm struggling and I feel like a failure and I'm fatigued and I can't move. But that process of pulling back in and responding to how I was feeling as quickly as possible has been really essential. I hope that in sharing that, there is something for you there. I think nearly every person I speak to this year is struggling with burnout. It's a lot. It's affecting all of us. We can't keep going the way we are on a downhill slide and hope that it's not going to get worse. Like, we have to start making changes to pull things back. So if I can encourage you to look at your business, look at your structures, look at your systems, look at your beliefs, look at your support team, look at all of those pieces and work out where you can step back, what you can put down, where you can simplify, and where the pieces actually just have to change. So good luck with that, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for listening today. My goal is that every episode is both compact and useful, because I know that you're a busy little bee building a business that makes an impact. But there's only so much I can share with you in just a few minutes, and you have your own unique ecosystem of tech, tasks, and needs. So if you're looking to take the next step, I'd love to help you during a one-to-one call where we can look at your systems, automation, or build a plan of what next. Head to the website to find out more.